published 17:30 EDT, 9 October 2017 updated 18:32 EDT, 9 October 2017 A man does indeed need to know his limitations, and this, listening to England's manager, appears to be the premise on which a plan for next summer's World Cup has been formulated. Gareth Southgate says he will advance with a system much as we saw in Vilnius, with 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs. At least that will provide this fragile, ordinary England side with some extra defensive security and a platform which might give those ahead of them the confidence to play with less fear and a bit more ambition. In a qualifying group comprising limited opposition, the weaknesses were rarely exposed. England conceded only 3 goals, 2 of them against what Gordon Strachan claims to be a genetically deficient Scotland. Harry Kane scored the only goal as England won 10 in Lithuania on Sunday evening. Gareth Southgate started with a side lining up with 3 at the back on Sunday evening. Southgate hopes the system will give his England side some added defensive security, but the former centre-half now guiding the England team sees flaws that could be all too easily exposed against the better teams in Russia. Asked if he is committed to 343, after experimenting with the system on a plastic pitch in Lithuania without a great deal of success, it has to be said Southgate was emphatic. "Yes," he said. "In terms of the way we want to play from the back, I think it is a better option. At the moment we turn the ball over too much, and when we do we split into 2 centre-backs, wide open. We were still open with 3. But I think it gives us good stability, and it gives us easier solutions for our midfield players as well. Then in front there is a possibility to switch, maybe get 2 strikers in certain games." John Stones was the most experienced of the England 3 starting in Lithuania. Leicester City defender Harry Maguire made his England debut in the game in Vilnius. "We felt we had to keep the system as we had used it before with a back 4, because there was such a quick turnaround of games. But I think 3 at the back is what we ought to do." Now Southgate has time and some games against far superior opposition to put his plan into action properly, with next month's friendlies against Germany and Brazil, and an encounter with the Dutch in March providing valuable tests. One can see what Southgate is thinking. His midfield is lacking in quality, and the defenders available to him do not have the stature of their recent predecessors. So the primary objective would appear to be defensive solidity, in the hope that a striker with the potency of Harry Kane can get the goals that propel England forward in a competition. Michael Keane was the 3rd member of the England back 3 against Lithuania. It is unlikely to win many popularity contests, but perhaps Southgate does need a more pragmatic approach, given how poor England were at the last 2 tournaments. "We have to have some consistency in our formation and some consistency in what we are asking the players to do," he said. "But the thing we don't know is who we get through the door in November and March, with all the club games they've got. We have to focus on a system and really try to hone it, work on it, and prove it. That might mean we have to leave some good players out. But we have to start to make those decisions over the next couple of camps. This," insisted Southgate, "is not something he has arrived at suddenly. It is a strategy he came up with over the summer in response to the obvious frailties in the squad." Southgate, pictured with England assistant manager Steve Holland on the Decline without going over old ground. "We were on the back of such a disappointing European exit, and we had to qualify," he said. "But I was very clear, when we sat down in the summer, Steve Holland and myself, we did a very strong assessment of the squad, and we knew that in November we wanted to look at 3 at the back and certain personnel we wanted to put into that. It turned out we were able to start the process now, rather than in November. You have such little time to work with the players that the more clarity they have under pressure, they will know what to fall back on. In the qualifying games, we felt 42-31 was better. We felt we wanted wide players who are able to exploit the width and try to break down the packed defenses. But we recognized along this journey what we are capable of in certain areas of the pitch. We have got some young players who are able to use the ball, including all 3 centre-backs who played against Lithuania," he said. "Jones is another one. Cahill is playing at Chelsea in a back 3. We have to invest our time in those guys.